Doak and I have the Basque property under contract and the Navigation District Harbor Front property under a letter of intent. Our development plan includes a 2-acre public park, a boardwalk, restaurant spaces, residential condominiums, townhomes, and retail space aligned with the Heritage District overlay. It is important to understand what challenges we and other developers have faced in the attempt to accomplish this effort. After 2.5 years of due diligence, we realized development isn't feasible without a TERS. This property has been vacant for 35 years, with all prior efforts halted due to the same issues. Environmental studies in July confirmed this previous industrial site is legally blighted, with underground oil spills, heavy metal contamination, and an unstable foundation. Erosion has also damaged the shoreline, requiring extensive bulkhead reinforcement and environmental remediation before any construction can begin. The city's easements and Heritage District overlay also require extensive infrastructure investment, including the bulkhead downtown drainage through the property, 6 new city streets, sidewalks, lighting, and a public boardwalk. It's an infrastructure project before anything else can be built. Despite these obstacles, the harborfront development will be an enormous benefit to the community. It would open the property to the public for the first time in a century, create over 400 jobs and student internships, and generate substantial tax revenue. Currently, the county makes about $25,000 per year on the vacant property. Our projections estimate over $20 million in tax revenue over the 25-year TERS on this property alone. And that's going into the general fund. This development alone will increase the county's net tax revenue by over 30 times what it is now, without the county taking on any risk or debt. These calculations are based on our financial model, which includes market studies plus our projected development square footage yields. Without a TERS, this property will remain vacant. If it were feasible without one, it would have been developed already. With the TERS approval, we are ready to move forward, raise capital, and invest in Rockport's infrastructure for a development that will greatly benefit the community. Please take action for the county to join the TERS. My team is prepared to move forward on our next steps and raise the capital as soon as the TERS is finalized. I promise that my team and our plans will always put the community of Aransas County and Rockport as our highest priority. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Andrew Kane.
Andrew Kane, 2106 Lakeview Drive. Thank you, Commissioners. We keep hearing this land hasn't developed for 30 years. So let's go back in time. It was a convoluted amount of plats out there. The Nav District in 2016 did a land swap. So this land could be developed. So that was 2016. 2017, hurricane. 2020, COVID, inflation, economy. Those are the reasons why it hasn't developed since John Jackson's family left it, contaminated 30 years ago. They haven't cleaned up. Land swap just recently happened. Okay, guys, the citizens voted against the courthouse, and y'all said we built $60 million of taxpayer money to the downtown Anchor project. It'll attract development. Well, here's the development that we've invested $60 million in that you hadn't even finished yet. Let's wait and see what can naturally come on the growth that y'all promised us the downtown Anchor project would bring. How's it work? So we've heard a lot of what TERS can do. Let's understand it. This TERS isn't created to wait to see if some developer agreements come up. The developer agreement's there, 2.5 years of due diligence. Then the TERS comes up. So we're creating a TERS for a developer agreement that no one has seen. What will do? We know what a TERS can do. You'll hear from the sales guy what a TERS can do. But let's see the developer agreement. Let's see the plans. Is it going to be downtown streets? No. Downtown drainage? No. What's it going to be? It's going to be on their private property improvements. Now, there's already an easement from the land swap along the waterfront, so we're not losing that. So what I'm curious is, because we haven't seen the developer agreement, we're going to develop this northern 30% of that land. All that land from the harbor to market that's not shown developed in their plan, that we want to do a boardwalk and bulkheads and clean up and infrastructure on. What's that land going to be? You asked it at the last meeting, Bob, what's the residential mix? And she didn't answer it. She had a chance to answer it. She didn't answer it. Is it going to be condos, So 70% of this land that they're not showing the development on yet, is that gonna be condos? We don't know. Nobody knows. But yet this county is being asked to commit 25 years of my taxes, 14 something $million, 16.9 from the city, 36 million in total for something we don't even know what they're building up there yet conception. You know, it's gonna look really bad when we got $36 million more than cost of a courthouse on a private venture for profit project, and we don't even know what's being built on it yet at conception. 70% of that land is not even showing in their first phase one. What's phase two? Condos? We're paying for that. That's what we need to do with our county money. Let's pay for a courthouse. Let's get out and build like this. How lucky can you find this in today? I don't know where your county's at today. The developer agreement, again, no one's seen it. Why? It exists. 2.5 years of due diligence. What's the developer agreement exactly going to pay for it? What's the $36 million for? Let's stop talking about what a tourist can and can't do. Let's see what this tourist is going to pay for it. And if you join this tourist, you don't have a say in what the tourist does. You don't get a vote. Zero. You join the tourist, you're contracting obligated by who? The city, who's in here in force. They're the ones that vote for a project, not you. You won't have a say in it. You join this tourist, you won't have a say. You don't get a vote. Yep, we like that project. Let's pay for it. You know, Emery's brother-in-law does a $20 million bulkhead that should be pinned. Terry's gonna pay for that. Where's the request for proposal on this? We've lost all controls of taxpayer money and how it's spent. No request for proposals, no transparency. You got a private board, you get what, one vote on? It's non-binding like P and Z. But who determines all this? What happens if you're 10 years from now, you don't like what you got? You don't get a vote on it. The city votes on it. Understand that. Nothing will come before this county commissioner's court to vote. We want to spend our money on this, yes or no, y'all don't vote. The city gets to vote, all the control. Is the tourist going to ask for a bond? If they do, you don't vote on it, the city votes on it. You gotta understand that. You're gonna be in here for the money and zero say control of what you're gonna get. So. It just, I woke up this morning, I didn't know we had a meeting, so I was held behind on it. But I want you to understand, you're committing 25 years of our money for something you don't even know what you're getting. In 2.5 years of due diligence, you said it. Put the developer agreement on the table before you join this. Let's see what we're asking to pay for. It's $36 million. 14 from y'all, 16, 17 from the city and the data district. That's it. I'm just slow it down. Don't sign up for something. Let's not pass it before we see what's in it, please.
All right, thank you. We'll go to item number 1, discuss the possibility of implementing a tax increment reinvestment zone, TERS, in the Aransas County. Topic will be presented by Travis James, Vice President of TXP Incorporated. Mr. James has nearly 25 years of experience in economic analysis, strategic planning, and policy development. Mr. James.
Thank you, Judge, Commissioners. I don't know if I put their work. Pretty much slide. Button, right? I'll get back to you. I'll start talking. So I'm Travis James. I'm an economic development consultant. Do this all over the state. We'll go back to that. So there you go. Thank you. I'm going to be brief. I know we don't have a lot of time, Judge, and so I can stay as long as you need me to, but I want to be respectful of your time. So it's an economic development tool used to pay for improvements within a designated zone. The state constitutional legislature has told you you're able to do this. Taxing jurisdictions can join, and there are constraints in rules and parameters. You can't just do whatever you want. You got to follow state law. There's about 460 of these throughout the state. 194 cities participate and 70 counties participate. Cities and counties have multiple TERS. This is not a property tax increase. You're just going to allocate a percentage if you chose to join a future tax revenue above and beyond what you're getting today to the zone. On the next slide, you just want to click for me. If that work, let's just do that. On the next slide, this just shows you the use of TERS in Texas has grown. Again, this is not something new. You're not the first person doing it. This isn't a tool that's being used in decline and not fewer TERS than there were yesterday. That doesn't mean you need to join the TERS, but it just means this is a common tool used throughout the state. On the next slide, what are the benefits of a TERS? You construct new public infrastructure to attract new businesses and encourages development by increasing long-term property tax collections. And it reduces the cost of private developers by providing reimbursements to eligible improvements. So what does that mean in the context of this TERS? What's been talked about and nothing's been agreed to, I have not seen a development agreement. I don't know if there is one, but I don't believe there is one. This is part of the process to make sure who's participating, so you know what kind of revenue would be, so that you would then negotiate the development agreement. That doesn't mean the developer hasn't done due diligence. You can ask Scarlett and Doak all the questions you want to ask them. I'm here talking generally about the tool and how it's used. What's being contemplated is the developer would build the infrastructure and they would get reimbursed from the revenue their project generates. If their project does not generate all the revenue their model says, then they don't get fully reimbursed. So the way it would work is, and this is how these are done across the state, you've got 25 years. They got to build their project. It's got to generate the property tax revenue that it says. They get reimbursed. And at the end of 25 years, they've either been reimbursed or they haven't. If they haven't been reimbursed, nobody's under any obligation to extend the TERS, change the rules, come up with the money from some other place. So that's why people like TERS, because it's at risk to the developer. On the next slide, I'm going to get to these quickly. On the next slide, these are eligible TERS projects. You can go look in chapter 311 of the tax code: roads, sidewalks, utilities, other infrastructure, demolition, remediation, affordable housing, public building, schools, economic development, and other things. If you click over, if you don't mind, to the website now, I think there may have been there's always some confusion about who can join a TERS and who can't, and this comes from the state. If you click on that top, that first one right above, let's then click right above that one, click that one. Who can participate? Any taxing entity that collects ad valorem taxes from property that TERS may participate. So counties can absolutely participate in TERS based on state law. Water districts do it, community college districts do it. So anyone that collects property tax, so this is from the state, this is the comptroller's website. The next thing says, can a county participate? This kind of outlines and talks about the eligible projects. What you see is the counties are able to spend their money on transportation and infrastructure and other things. So I think there's always some confusion. You know, you're a community college district, you don't typically pay for roads, but under the TIF, under a TERS statute, you're able to spend your money on the things that are outlined in state law. Back to the PowerPoint, if you don't mind. And feel free to stop me. So this is sort of the eligible list. On the next slide, we talk a lot about the base value. Sorry, one more slide down. You have what's called the base value. The tax revenue you generate off that base value continues to go to the participating taxing entities as is. It's only a portion or all of the growth above that. So on the next slide, this is a simple example I've been talking about the last couple of months in the community. Assume the property has $1 million base value and a 25-cent tax rate. So let's just say the county has a 25-cent tax rate. The county collects $2,500. They're going to continue to collect that $2,500. Let's say you joined a TERS 50-50. There's new growth. The bottom part tells you how that money gets split. The city would continue to collect this, or the county is $2,500 plus a portion of the future growth. And then you would put some of the money in that little piggy bank that's the TERS account. And so that money has to get spent within the TERS.
So you put some of the money
Mhm.
in the TERS account, and the balance of the money that would go either to the county or the city can be used for what?
Anything the general fund, anything the commissioner's court chooses every year as you go through your budget. So in this example, the 50% that you would keep for your general fund, commissioner's court gets to allocate however you so choose every year as part of your normal budgeting process.
Thank you.
That makes sense to everybody. So you can come in 75, 25, 100, 0, 50, 50. We can talk about the percentages. The cities come in at 60% to the TERS, 40% to the city. So they've done a 60-40 split. This illustration is 50-50 just to make the math work. It's a little bit easier to explain.
So we can spend our 40% on anything, including personnel,
Public
capital
safety.
projects, public safety, anything that we choose. That's within our normal purview.
40% of the incremental
Correct.
And the base.
addition, right?
So on the next slide, how are TERS funds used? We talked about this last time. Oftentimes it's on a sort of annual cash flow basis, often referred to as pay as you go. Number two is very common. You reimburse a developer or developers if there's multiple projects. This TERS zone includes the old HEB site, some other undeveloped areas. So in this situation, you would reimburse the developer for this project. You can issue bonds. They're only backed by TERS revenue. They're not backed by the city or the county. The TERS has to support them. Some communities do them, some don't. You do not have to do that. I'm just going over what you're allowed to do by state law.
Who would determine if there was a TERS bond?
It would have to be in the final project. It'd have to be allowed in the final project and finance plan. Then the TERS would have to approve it, but you'd have to work with in this situation, the city's financial advisor, because they would have to go place the debt. So all the standard things like coverage ratio, is there enough money? You've got to demonstrate that for somebody to want to buy your bond. So it would be a normal process. In this situation, you may not. If it's a small project, you may, some companies get up to $100 million worth of infrastructure, and the developer wants to issue debt to take their money to reinvest in the project. And so it's a little bit case by case, but sort of the markets determine if the bond makes sense. But it would be the TERS board that would make that determination.
Commissioner, my understanding of their ordinance that's already passed is that the city is the one who has the final approval of whether or not a bond issued.
Thank you, though. And but the board would be the one that would determine to go before the city.
Correct. So cities, they're set up in two ways. One is the TERS board has more authority. In this situation, everything still has to come back through city council, often like an economic development corporation. So the TERS board would say, we make a recommendation that this project or this reimbursement is consistent with the final project and finance plan. They would approve it, and then it would go back to the city, and the city would have to say, yes, we agree. So there are the checks and balances. So we talked about last time when the TERS board meets, these are public meetings. They have to take meeting minutes and notes, standard postings. You also have to submit an annual report to the comptroller.
So when the TERS is set up, is it possible, or do you have the ability to allow less options to spend the money than state law?
Sure. Sure, you can restrict it. I always use this example. You could say, hey, we explicitly don't want to spend our money on sidewalks. Now, what will typically happen is somebody's going to come back to the project you like, and sidewalks will be, let's just say sidewalks are something they need. You could amend the project and finance plan to make sidewalks an eligible expense, but you have to go through a public notice, you have to have public meetings, you have to get it voted on to amend that project and finance plan.
How does the county get past the rules that we cannot participate in infrastructure within the city other than them reimbursing us for our out-of-pocket expenses? How do we get past that?
What rule are you referring to?
Well, under the Constitution, I understand that counties cannot spend money in the cities unless there is some sort of economic agreement. For example, we can build roads, pave roads and everything.
Okay.
But if we put our people out there, we have to be reimbursed for that. If we put our material out there, we have to be reimbursed as if they were.
Yeah, and I think,
Commissioner Cheney, excuse me for a second. That came up in Commissioner's Court a few years ago. And David's here. But David said it had always been his understanding, that was what he'd been told by the fellow who was here before him. There was an attorney general opinion that came out, TAC wrote about it in the legalese, and I gave that opinion to David and also brought it to court because they have changed it so counties can use county funds to do work within the city on streets.
You guys do some drainage projects in the city and.
Well, yeah, well, drainage project, those projects were all set on, whenever they were approved to go in the city. I mean, so that's a county project.
Right, but
within the city.
And this has been changed.
And Travis can explain though that the TERS is a separate entity. You can participate in any infrastructure project in the TERS, even if it's outside of your normal functions.
right, so like on back to on the website, on FAQ, any taxing entity is allowed to participate. And you have an eligible list of projects assigned by chapter 311, so you would be able to use your county funds on an eligible project within the zone.
Can an ISD participate?
ISDs are allowed to participate, but they don't because they're not held harmless under Robin Hood. So I used to always say shorthand, they can, but y'all know how the whole Robin Hood school, that's a whole other workshop. So they don't. Only Georgia entered into one about 10 years ago, but if you look at the biennial registry, they changed it about 25 years ago because property rich school districts that why not participate, so are we sending money back to the state, so they stopped that. So they are technically allowed to do it, legally they're allowed to do it, but they do not as a practical matter because they're not held harmless. And so they're worse off because they have less money. So counties are allowed to participate in TIF. I have not heard that concern before. Legally, they're allowed to by 311. That project list identifies what you're allowed to spend it on. So just like a community college doesn't do roads, but they can participate in a TIF, and those funds they contribute to be spent on roads, as an example.
Commissioner, I would say that, to go back to what, the reasonable restrictions may be. Whatever happens in the TERS with the money of the TERS is subject to the rules of the County Purchasing Act, and then, I don't know if it's called the Municipal Purchasing Act, but chapter 252. So, that makes everything that TERS money is spent on subject to competitive bidding. So if anything is entered into, essentially to get repaid, or get to use any of that money, that agreement either has to be in the original ordinance as adopted from the start, or it has to comply with competitive bidding. So how things get paid back, or how things get paid in general are subject to all the procurement. So, this board, if they don't already, would definitely need guidance on how to procure things legally and how to spend public funds, because the public purpose test is part of the Constitution that both cities and counties are subject to.
Okay.
And we can check with some other counties that have TERS also to confirm.
Yeah, I think the issue is, and I think without getting into legalese, is the TERS doing it or is it reimbursing the developer? Those are two slightly different rules, but obviously. Every TERS can do it a little bit. I mean, you have rules, but different people take different approaches. So what's most common is you reimburse the developer. So in that situation, you're not the one doing the procurement. That would be different than if the TERS itself as the board was doing the procurement. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay.
Yes.
So there are some slight caveats and variations to this. So on the next slide. I'll skip through this. But these are kind of the rules on how you can create a TERS. This TERS was legally created based on the requirements for how much residential are in the TERS. You can't have too many TERS. On the next slide. This is the steps to creating a TERS. The city got through step 5. We have not done step 6, which is create that final project and finance plan. We're here today to see get your interest. I think the city wants to know if you all would participate. Want to talk to the NAD district about participating, but the city got through those first 5 steps. Held many public meetings, public hearings, and they approved it 6 weeks ago. About 6 weeks ago. I think you're all familiar with that. So we still got to finish our work. Next slide.
I'm sorry, we haven't created the board of directors.
Oh, they have not been appointed. The board has been created. They have not appointed their board members.
I'm sorry. Yeah, you're
Right, so the board of directors was created, designated, they just have not appointed the members.
And number 6 depends on the other government body's participation.
I don't know that that's the case. I think it will be challenging. I will let the developer speak that their project can't go forward without the others participating. But the way the process normally works is the city creates it, shows their effort and their interest, and then they come talk to the other taxing entities. You all get to appoint at least one board member. That's the bullet point, the second bullet point, under number 5. And so before they proceeded, they wanted to talk to everybody to see who's participating, because that final project and finance plan is based on the revenues that are available. So knowing who's participating, that means we don't have to go redo it. So if we create it now and then you join, we'd have to go back and redo it because we know the money. So this is where a lot of them sort of pause and have these conversations. The next slide. And let me remind everybody where we are in the process is if you so choose to join and the NAD district joins, you then still have to enter into a development agreement with the developer. The developer has to present their pitch or their ask or whatever the term is to the TERS board. So I'm going to be transparent. I have not seen what the development agreement is. I don't know if there is one, but they will be coming to the TERS board. Make no mistake about it. They're going through this process. They will be coming to the TERS board to ask for reimbursement. So I want to make sure everyone's crystal clear. They're going to be coming and asking for money. What that looks like, what amount, what their conditions would be, I do not know what they are. But until the TERS is created, there is no board to go make the request from. Is everybody kind of clear on where we are? This
The
is
TERS is totally separate from the development plan.
correct.
I mean, perhaps the development wouldn't come forward without the TERS,
Correct.
but we can have the TERS and either accept or
Correct.
reject
Correct.
any development plan that's brought.
And I think the thinking, we talked about this last time, the city's adopted a number of plans, a comprehensive plan, a downtown plan, a historic plan. I'm sure the county has as well. There are issues in this area. There's flooding, there's drainage issues, there's bulkhead issues. I believe you're likely going to use this tool. This would be the most common tool to assist development in this area. So whether it's this developer or if they don't work, the tools in place for the next developer to come in and make whatever their request would be. I just said the former HEB side, there's a number of areas that you could see some development. They would likely come ask the TERS to participate or for an incentive or whatever it is. And the TERS board can say no.
Just to be clear, what Commissioner said, we don't reject it, the TERS board rejects it.
Correct. And you have at least a member on that board. And so say no, or hey, we'll only give you 50% of what you want, and then they can decide whether or not they move forward. So by putting this in place, you're not obligating any funds to get spent on anything. The final project and finance plan has to comply with state law, and that will outline what are eligible expenditures. You can modify that, but so that people will come make requests to you based on what's in that final project and finance plan. In the interest of time, I'll keep going.
We've got 3 minutes.
That's the tourist boundary that was approved. Next slide. That's the land use in the TERS. Next slide. That's what it looks like today. The base value is about $28 million. That's 2024. Next slide. We did a revenue forecast based on the Rockport Marina. We did not assume any other redevelopment. Just to be transparent, when I first got brought in, we've been at this a while. I used a 23 tax rate. The new numbers are based on the 24 that everyone stopped it. Next slide. This is how much revenue you're getting today. What Mr. Kane referred to. You're getting, you're getting this revenue today, which will collect over 25 years off the base value. Next slide. Those that participate in the TERS 60/40, the county, for example, would contribute 15 million, and they would retain 10 million for the general fund. That makes sense. So this is a high level forecast over 25 years, assuming 60/40. The city has already chosen to do 60/40 on the next slide. This will be the next steps.
The base value is never gonna be part of the TERS.
Correct. Base value is the base value.
Correct.
And that's what it is as of when the TERS is established.
So, it's 2024, correct. Now, remember, the tax rate does move up and down. So the amount of revenue you get off the base value does fluctuate, but the math is the base value divided by 100 times your rate. That's what you always collect before you contribute anything to the TERS.
Right now, the base value, say 28.
Yes, sir.
In 10 years, that base value would appreciate.
It could.
So that would still be part of the general fund.
No, the appreciation off the base does go to the TERS. That 28 million is locked in. As we talked about in the past, it's the taxable value in a given year minus the base value. So if it appreciated 1 or 2% a year, that little bit of appreciation would go in the TERS. Properties do go up and down in value, so there is going to be appreciation. Some properties may be, less in value, but generally over time, properties, do appreciate.
Can I ask you a question?
Huh?
You said you haven't seen a project plan yet, but it's on the ordinance.
Final project and finance plan, what I created was a preliminary.
To establish the TERS.
Can you back up to the map?
Yes, sir. I'll ask him to back up.
So I'm curious if you notice the boundary along Magnolia Street, why the line doesn't come all the way to the street?
That's just the way you're talking about the southern end?
No, if you look here
Yeah, it's just,
on the western end
it's,
where it comes.
the way that map was drawn, I picked up the parcel values. It includes the right of way of the public streets. But that's just from the appraisal district, they draw those little polygons for us. And to answer the question, if you go back up 2 slides to the steps to create a TERS. you have to create that preliminary reinvestment zone financing plan. So that's what's attached to the ordinance that does it.
All right.
I tried to go fast.
No, you're good. I didn't-
know.
Is the Maritime Museum in the zone?
I think so.
Okay.
So I don't know if the board has any questions I can answer.
It didn't look like it was. I thought I heard it was.
Like any of the NAV district property other than still waterfront.
Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Cheney, Commissioner Castleton,
Aye.
Commissioner Russo, Commissioner Dukenyak, Judge Garrison.
Hi, we are adjourned. We'll take about 30 seconds. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you. There you go. All right, good morning. It is the 12th day of November, 2024, and it is now 9:08 a.m. We are in the Aquarium Education Center located at 706 Navigation Circle, Rockport, Texas, 78382. And I call this notice of regular meeting of Commissioners Court to order. We'll stand and have an invocation.
Please join me as I pray. As always, Father, we're thankful for the blessings of this new day, the beautiful weather you've sent us, and the privilege of living in this great country and state and county. And Lord, we pause now to invite your presence to preside over this meeting today. Lord, we know that the safest place for any of us to be is in the center of your will. And Lord, when we deviate with your will, we suffer the price. And Lord, we confess that we're not worthy of all the blessings you've given us to bring us back from the destruction of Harvey to where we are right now. But we have a bright future ahead, and we know that you can direct that future. We pray this morning that you empty everyone here of every thought, every feeling, every notion they have of what they want this county to be. And fill us with your presence, with your spirit, to give us your vision so that we might all work together to prosper this county. And we just trust you today. We trust you with these commissioners to listen to your voice as we move forward. For it's in your name we pray.
Amen. Please join me in the pledges. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Brundrett. Roll call.
Commissioner Cheney,
Here.
Commissioner Castellane,
Here.
Commissioner Russo.
Here.
Commissioner Dugan.
Here.
Judge Garner.
Here. Got a full quorum? Full court, citizens be heard. Any online? Nope, all right. Skip that. Section 6, there's none, presentations and proclamations. Yes, sir.
And the blue screen.
Oh, did you?
Chris,
Yeah,
did you sign up to be here?
I did. I tried filling out the online form this morning and it was kept kicking it back.
Okay.
Looking for a completion that wasn't available on,
I didn't receive it.
but I did sign in.
There's a form back here for you.
Yeah.
You'll just leave this afterwards.
Okay.
Yeah, you go and step forward and, oh, come on forward and I'll allow it.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. My name is Chris Veach. I'm with the Key Allegro Homeowners Association. I'm here to discuss possibility for DRRP funds and potentially help with a Protect grant. So I've got some handouts for you. Yeah, so recently, obviously, we had a bunch of revetment work done over on Key Allegro, which was done at 1, 4, 5, or 6, and 7. What remains undone is Reach 5, and that's the first page. Flip it over, it's an expanded view of Reach 5. We have about a 900-foot stretch along Bay Shore, which used to be the most robust area of the shoreline that was created with GLO funds back in 2000. And what we have now is a differential between the height that was put in with the latest revetment work versus the height of what existed. Next page is a picture of Reach 5 as it merges into Reach 6 and 7. Next page is looking at Reach 5 where it merges back into Reach 4. All the rock work there is at +7. The bulkhead that was put in 2000 is about +5. We had a lot of high water last week. The NOAA reporting station had it at about 3.26 on NAVD 88. And that was, I think, on the 5th. These pictures reflect just standing water with no wind energy. That's the next two pictures. At one point, it had crossed Bay Shore in two areas. So, what the ask is that we had flooding with no wind assisted last week. During Alberto, we had flooding all the way across Bay Shore at the Reach 5 area. Unfortunately, I don't have a picture for you right now, but safe to say there was flow from the bay across Bay Shore and into the canal systems on the other side of the road. To the point where the new groin had been installed, it carried steel forms off of the shoreline and into the canal behind Curlew. The problem with that, obviously, is that it's going to affect the structure of the road, utilities, and it also kept people from being able to egress off the island, which is a major safety concern. So based on those items, it seems like it fits some of the needs presented in the Protect grant, because basically, to me, we have some environmental change going on with higher water. It's affecting transportation. It's affecting safety of the residents on the island. The DRRP funds, I believe after talking with Alan with engineering, those applications need to have engineering in place. Applications have to be in by the 21st. And this is leftover Harvey money, leftover FEMA Harvey. And I'm looking for help with that application process. Key Allegro is willing to come up with initial engineering for that. And I'm looking for help from the county. That's the basics on what I have. We spoke last week at Road and Bridge. The Protect grant is kind of still under consideration and examination on how to move forward. Just looking for help from the county at whatever level. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Do I have a motion to accept the consent agenda?
Second.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Russo, Commissioner Commissioner Russo, Commissioner Dutton, Judge Garza.
Aye, passes 5-0. Consent agenda is approved. Before we move on, I need to do some housekeeping. Item number 10, I'm going to strike. Item number, is Tracy in here? Which one did I need to do? Oh, that was it. No, item number 10, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then I'm also going to strike. Item number 20. All right, so we'll move on to item number 3. Do I have a motion?
Resolution R-27-2024 to hire H2O partner for the update of the Venice County multi-jurisdictional hazard mitigation.
Got a motion and a second. Good morning.
This would just be a formalization of what was approved in the last commissioner's court to hire H2O. Just have the resolution attached.
Any questions? Okay.
Commissioner Trainee,
Aye.
Commissioner Castleton,
Aye.
Commissioner Russo, Commissioner Dukenyak,
Aye.
Judge Garza.
Aye, passes. Item number 4.
Judge, that was the one that I had emailed
Oh,
about.
that's right. That's right. Can you tell the court?
Yes, sir.
Okay, please, thank you.
Do we need a motion first before we
Do you want a motion to discuss?
Sure, let's do a motion.
move to approve enacting order authorizing?
Oh, just a motion to discuss, unless you want to approve it.
We can do discuss first and then approve or disapprove based on what I email judge.
Did the commissioners get that email in their
Yes.
folders? Okay. Well, I'll move to discuss.
Are we
In-
moving to discuss?
Yeah.
enacting the-
Yes, ma'am. I move to discuss enact an order authorizing environmental health department director enforce order 010-2018, the abatement of public nuisance ordinance.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All right, let's open the discussion.
Judge Garza had reached out to me to ask me to revise the order for abatement of public nuisance. Specifically to authorize environmental health department director to carry out section 6 of that particular ordinance. Gives the authority to the county judge. And section 6 says that the county judge may delegate through order of the commissioner's court his authority to carry this out. And so I drafted that, and that is what is in front of you today. And then I was thinking about it Thursday, and it just made me a little uneasy. I went and looked, and there are certain times where a county judge, because we don't want to extend the power of the county judge's office unless that's supported by statute. These particular ones that were cited in the environmental health department, or I'm sorry, in the abatement of public nuisance, didn't give that authority, but we adopted a statute that said we could, and I thought, I can find stuff where the county judge of a county can delegate his or her authority based on population size. So I've read rules and laws for 190,000, 500,000, 1.2 million, and 3.3 million. But not for our county. So I reached out and I said, it just makes me uneasy. Plus the, I think it's chapter 343 of the Texas Health and Safety Code requires that the person authorized to carry this out be a full-time salaried employee who is not necessarily the county judge. And so I just figured it might be easy just to make those few amendments and pass that ordinance. I can have that ready for you by the 25th.
So you'll just table this?
I would prefer to, I think the better way would be to just amend those, and I will attach an explanation on the top of that of what is specifically being changed in that ordinance.
I move to table item number 4.
I'll second it.
Commissioner Trainee,
Aye.
Commissioner Castleton,
Aye.
Commissioner Russo, Commissioner Dukenyak,
Aye.
Judge Garza.
Aye, table. Item number 5.
Move to approve the Rockport Cultural Arts District third quarter report for 2024.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Good morning.
Good morning.
Do you need a podium?
No, I'm fine. I'm fine.
We don't have one.
I have one question before you start.
Okay, sure.
And on the front, it says the hotel motel report, July through August, but it's really July through September.
Yes.
Okay, good. Because there were some September figures in here, but I was.
Yes,
Thank
that
you.
is correct. Thank you. Okay. Ready? You'll use a clicker, or you want to just go?
Try it.
Okay. Let's try. Here we go. Nope, it's gonna be you. Okay, there we go. Let's go backwards. Okay, so beautiful Rockport Railroad Depot. We continue to do restoration on this property. We do have a new initiative that's pretty exciting. The former Houston Railroad Museum no longer open, they have 12 vintage railroad cars that they are donating, and it's great to be in this audience because they're donating to the Galveston Railroad Museum, to the Rosenberg Railroad Museum, and to the Rockport Railroad Museum. So it's a very, very good company to be in. It will definitely make a difference on the Austin Street or Main Street area. Here's letters of support we got from Todd Hunter, the mayor, and judge, the development group, NAB district, and Rockport Little Theater. These are the rail cars that will be coming to Rockport. One of them is almost 100 years old. Pretty cool stuff. This is a painting that Steve Russell did. We will be using jaquettes that have been made for this for fundraising. And some new marketing materials that we've come up with. Again, the getting restoration. There's also a book that's being generated, which will be available during the Smithsonian exhibit, which I'll talk about just shortly. Got HEB Community Day at the depot, taking the waters and T-shirts downtown and handing them out on second Saturday in September. Second Saturday continues to be a very active Saturday. I don't know if you've been downtown on second Saturday, but it's quite busy, which is great. We continue our film festival, our film commission partnership. We have entered the Art Colony documentary, which debuted at the film festival. Hopefully you got to see that. It's pretty artistic with a beautiful producer on our board of directors. And we've entered that into 12 Texas Film Festival. So you'll see that going around the state very soon. We continue to add amenities to the district. We've got a new mural. We've done community things like sending John and Donna and Johnny off. Great contributors to our community. And then we continue to manage the district merchant meetings. Smithsonian, it's coming up pretty quick, January 25th. Right now it's in Clifton, it'll go to Brenham, and then it comes here January 25th. We expect thousands, literally thousands of people through this area at that time. It will impact not only the cultural district and the Aransas County community building, which we appreciate you allowing us to use. I think that's kind of pushed the efforts to complete that building, which is great.
And get Wi-Fi.
What was that?
And get Wi-Fi.
Okay, great. Yep. So the other thing too here is we have decided to be open every single day during the 6 weeks, which is quite a challenge. Volunteer wise, but also to push that across. We had a district merchant meeting last Thursday, and to push that across the merchants to be open. This is an opportunity to really make some revenue, really make an impact during a very slow period of time for our community and jumpstart the first of the new year. This was a trip to St. Augustine, the first opening, first city that opened. And you can see it's quite a large core Smithsonian exhibit. A lot of responsibility in managing that exhibit. We'll have green flags at each of the locations, and I'm talking about partner locations and host locations. So those are easy visuals to drive people within the community. We drive people around, we're going to spend money. It's what we need to maximize here. These will also go to our partners that are outside of Rockport. We have buses that are being sponsored by the new Exxon group from our core building to the Taft Blackmon Museum, and that's every Saturday. So we're doing a lot of really cool things.
Is there going to be some kind of a marketing piece? And I'm old-fashioned print, where it will show what the locations are.
Yes.
Within our community, so people could say, okay, I've been to like the railroad depot, let me find the history center, Folk Mansion.
Great question. And Carl Hatman has been engaged. We'll have a hard copy map with the green flags on them. Again, it's that mental connection. And then not only for here, but also for all of our partner locations, which go from Galveston all the way down to Brownsville. We have historical museums participating, and it will be available on your mobile app as well as a hard copy will be available. Again, the real focus here is getting people moving around and getting that income for this community. And also showcasing the community, of course. Okay. Hold on, there we go. Okay. Different initiatives we've been working on Halloween in the district. This year, we partnered with the Aransas County Humane Society and Animal Control. We had a movie in the district, which benefited Humane Society and Animal Control. We're working on a downtown posted Christmas tree with ornaments that are being decorated by Sacred Heart Children as well as First Learning Tree. It's going to be made out of crab traps, so it's going to be very coastal, and it's going to sit in the same location that we had the movie. It's the same spot that the Arcade is under contract to purchase next to Rockport Little Theater. Working on Christmas in the district. We're also working with the city on Main Street Visitor Center. As you know, we got $38,800 from the state of Texas to support this. This brings us public bathrooms, which is has been the #1 request from our visitors for as long as I can remember. Brings us art display area. We're looking at sculpture from Ken Olberg to put in this park, as well as have a place for our artists to display their art. The wildlife habitat. This was a certification that Charlie Belair got. He basically got that around cultural interface sculptures, and what I understand was July 12th, the Aransas County adopted a county-wide policy to use portions of right-of-ways to create a wildlife habitat, and this was the impetus of that initiative. These are the funds that we got through the state. As far as I know, the Cultural District is the only nonprofit that is the caveat or the gateway for state funding for nonprofits and government entities for projects located within the Cultural District. We've gotten over $300,000 so far since our beginning, and we can continue to do that. For county projects located within the Cultural District, we can do the same thing, whether it's for the NAB district, the city, or the county. And we added Rockport Little Theater. They received a grant this year for the first time. With the Smithsonian exhibit, the Texas Historical Commission has placed a geofence on the area of the Cultural District specific to the Cultural District. So we will be doing this going forward from henceforth, even after the Smithsonian exhibit. Again, completely defined within the Cultural Arts District, and we'll be able to measure the growth. One of the things with this is it also comes with a piece where they can manage or they can track dollars that are spent. We're not there yet. We're just getting into this, but that's something else that's going to be really important to see how that grows. What I did here, these were different.
Excuse me, did you say the Smithsonian required that, or we're doing it because the Smithsonian?
We're doing it because of the Smithsonian. Okay. It is a benefit. It's just one of the very few benefits that Texas Historical Commission is allowing us.
Okay,
And they're going to continue to do it after the Smithsonian.
So this will be continued funding?
Yes, it will be. It will be. This shows daily trends. Again, there's income numbers here. This was the first time we're using this, so we really have to drill down a little bit further to fully understand all of it. It's great tracking information, and we're going to be able to see how that, how our attendance grows and how our funding, how money that comes in, again, very important for us, for all of us, to be able to track that. And this is how I identified the hotel motel for the 44 blocks of the Cultural District, which is what our directive is from the state of Texas. Is our responsibility is the 44 blocks in the Rockport downtown area. And these are the reports that we also have to provide to the state of Texas is for that 44 blocks and different head count information. And now we'll be able to add a little bit more information in our reports.
And Jennifer, that number, and I really studied this, so I'm not sure I totally understand. But do the hoteliers in this area seem to think that that 34,000 hotel room figure is correct for the quarter?
I have not run this past Jeanine or Craig, but I will tell you that with the new CBB board, Craig is on, Jatine's on, I'm on, Michael Labels is on, as well as Summer Terrell. And we will be looking at all this data. So we have a lot of exciting things coming up. Social media marketing continues to grow. Here's our financials from our treasurer, Dennis Johnson. And that is the end of my report. Do you have any questions?
No questions? Thank you so much, Jennifer.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Commissioner Cheney.
Aye.
Commissioner Castleline.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo.
Aye.
Commissioner Dukenyak.
Aye.
Judge Garza.
Aye, passes. Report is accepted. Item number 6.
Motion for requesting qualifications for engineering services and grant management services for application administration of 2024 through 2026. Regarding resilience, operations for quality, efficient and cost-saving transportation project program for planning improvement to Fulton Beach Road.
Second.
Got a motion, a second. Good morning, Ms. Mo.
Good morning again. This is a request so that we could solicit qualifications to have improvements on Fulton Beach Road. As you know, projects in the past for doing the necessary improvements, Fulton Beach Road have not succeeded. So we are trying to reevaluate that. This grant looks like an excellent opportunity. The planning grant has a no match requirement. And so this particular of the protect funds, there are different lots of money to apply for. What we're asking to apply for is the planning part, the planning section.
This would benefit the city of Rockport, city of town of Fulton, and the whole county.
Yes, sir. This has been discussed at the Stormwater Committee meeting so that we've been sure to get input from town of Fulton and the city of Rockport. It would be a multi-jurisdictional project because Fulton Beach Road does extend through all 3 of our jurisdictions. However, Aransas County would be the primary applicant for applying for the grant.
Okay, and this might be housekeeping, but do we have a UEI number with county?
Yes,
Okay, I figured we probably did. And I understand that we are looking at applying for grants from the Protect program. But in this particular case, and I wasn't at the stormwater meeting, I was ill, but they are limiting it to this resilient planning category. There are other categories, specifically the at-risk coastal infrastructure grant. And I'm wondering why that might not be included, why we couldn't just say that we would be interested in pursuing Protect program grants.
I would definitely love to apply for the coastal infrastructure at-risk infrastructure grant. That one does require a match. I believe it's a 20% match.
Yeah, I think it was 80-20.
And so that would be something that, for example, the project that Mr. Beach mentioned with the Key Allegro, like if there's a possibility to match any of the DRRP funds with, then there is possibility of applying. The notice of funding just came out, and as far as trying to find any matching grants for the at-risk coastal infrastructure, we haven't identified any yet for any additional projects with the county. But if we do, I would love to pursue that.
I'm in favor of this, but I'm also in favor of having it more expansive. So that it could come back to us and we could approve including the at-risk coastal infrastructure grant as part of what we would.
If we want to, I believe they would have to come back to y'all for us to apply, like the way that this is worded, I think it would be limited to planning grant, at request for qualifications. But if we can identify any additional projects that would be eligible, then I'd be happy to get that prepared and bring it back to Commissioner's Court.
This has no match.
Correct.
Right, the planning doesn't have to.
So would the planning grant include that portion of the grants? If we so worded the motion?
I believe that we would have to, reword the I would have to just simply state to, request qualifications for the Protect Grant Program. But I'm not sure if that's something that we could, modify during the meeting, or if it would need to come back to specify the project.
Well, we'll meet again in a couple of meetings.
Well, does this have to be done by the 21st? Does the matching one have to be applied for by the 21st?
I am not sure. I will have to look and see.
The GRRP has to be, your projects have to be sent in, but it's not the applicant.
Oh,
It's
'Cause that's
only
it.
what you're sending in, and then if they approve the projects, then they invite you to apply for them. But those also have a very, very strict time. They have to be completed within 1 year, I think, isn't it 1 or 2?
2 years.
2 years. So I mean, it's not something that we can do a planning grant and then we can do other things. It's something that's very, very strict. And if you don't complete it, you have to pay all the money back that you've received.
Does it have to be like completed, the,
Closed out.
what's it called, like ready? Okay,
It has to be totally complete and closed out.
we can't do that in 11 days, can we?
That's for like
9 days.
No, I think she means
No, that's for that one.
The
she gets you.
Right, that's what I meant, the
There
DR.
also have to be any grants that you apply for, there's specific disasters that they have to be tied to.
Oh, I see.
You can't just pick a grant that you want to do. It's something that has to be tied to either Harvey or one of the floods, or there's several different things, but because those are all of the leftover funds that they've accumulated. So you have to, there's some restrictions on what you can use those funds for.
Okay, Ms. Adela, did you have something?
No, I mean, hypothetically, yes, you could amend your motion to make it more comprehensive, but, I, off the top of my head, finishing a project in 1 year.
I think it's true, but that's having to go through higher engineering and grant writer and, and then you don't even know if you're gonna get it. Because they're gonna score those that are sent in, and then once they're scored, the highest ones will be invited to apply for it. It's still an application.
Right.
And it's between 500,000 and max is 20 million for each project. So,
And that's also the LMI.
yes, there is an LMI requirement, which I don't believe Reach File is
No,
gonna
it will
meet the
not.
LMI requirement. So that won't work. But, and I don't know about Fulton Beach Road.
No, honestly, I haven't looked at, because of the restrictions on the DRRP, I was not looking at that for the coastal infrastructure grant to have any actual work, like just to do the planning section, though there's no match required. And the big hope, after all the discussions in stormwater, was that we could have a better community outreach and a better process for involving the residents that live in that area and rely on it. So that's, there are lots of opportunities with the Protect Grant. I have not had a lot of time to read more into it than for the focus of the Fulton Beach Road project.
Right, no, in the Fulton Beach Road project, nothing needs to be done, but on page 35. With the at-risk coastal infrastructure, it says the BCA is not required, so I was perhaps incorrectly interpreting that.
But the LMI, especially with the DRRP, you have to, there's certain census tracts and they've already delineated which ones are the LMI that they would fund. So, I mean, they have to be in those areas.
And the Protect grants are all under that.
They're totally different, so.
Oh, they're totally different.
Yeah, the Protect is
okay.
totally different than the DAAP, because that's their GLO and it's.
Okay, so then as far as this Protect grant, we could say that we would approve it for the planning, but also for any at-risk coastal infrastructure grants that would apply.
If we can find a match.
If the attorneys are
Maybe
okay with that.
planning or any
Hopefully-
applicable grant to which we may qualify, and then that makes it a bigger umbrella.
May I recommend simply coming it back to requesting qualifications for the Protect Grant program? And that way we can encompass all of the different programs within that.
Qualifications. That's like one of the professional services, the 10 professional services.
For the engineering and grant management is what she's talking about, just
Yeah.
asking for qualifications from them.
Rather see,
Protect
make
grant
sure
project.
have this move forward the way it is, and maybe at our next meeting,
That'd be fine.
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
bring it up, because I won't have time to get all the working, work with the county attorney's office.
And we can look to see if there's any additional grants not tied to LMI that we could look at potential matches.
Okay,
Okay,
sounds good.
all right, any other questions?
So you have homework for next.
Yes, ma'am.
Project, what I want to do with.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Castleman,
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
Judge Garza.
Aye, passes. 5-0. Item number 7.
Just get passed as if it was written.
Item number 7.
Move to approve change order number 8. Construction contract for Southeast Aransas County drainage improvements in the county's general land office community development block grant for last disaster relief contract 20-065-098-C270. Rizzo Construction LLC is requesting an increase in the contract amount of $274,463.20. No increase in time is requested.
Got a motion and a second. Good morning, Mr. Darrell. How you doing, sir?
This change order A includes additional road work and drainage improvements on
What sort of additional road work?
road work on reconstructing Arena and Gloria.
What was this, First Street Arena?
And we just recently held a final walkthrough on the project with the contractor, with greater punch list of items. So I'm anticipating seeing the final closeout documents coming soon in the near future.
Commissioners and Judge Garza, if I may, my concern with this one is that the change, two concerns, one of them, it's a general aid office grant, and this is not on GLO paperwork. My second one is that the change order they're asking to sign is for 22,000.
That's not the right reason. That's not the right project.
It's two change order number 8. Change order number 8.
So this is a little over $250,000.
Yes, ma'am. It's, we have encumbered the 25% of the original contract amount, and we've been using that amount over time to get that, maximize our use of those funds. And,
Will this maximize this project down?
pretty much, yes, sir. There'll be a little bit of left
Those are
over.
the roads that need to be paid.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So you're reconstructing them, and then what else did you say you were doing
And drainage improvements additional.
on those two roads?
Throughout the project, yes, ma'am.
That will finish.
But on
That will finish all of the paving of the roads. in That
In the
particular
southeast.
area.
Yes, sir.
That's good, because that's a very growing area.
Yes, sir.
Y'all done a good job over there.
Thank you.
The contractor's doing a great job of inspection. Yes, sir.
All right. Any other questions?
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Castleman,
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
Judge Garza.
Aye, it passes. Item number 8, the other change order.
I move, and I need to make a small change. I move to approve DL2 Inc.'s change order number 8 for Aransas County Community Building /Plaza/fiber optics increase in cost of $14,778,000.26 for the installation of 2 of the 3, and that word should be hand pole, not hand holds. There's a difference.
What you said,
it should be hand pull, not hand hold. Cause I looked it up, cause it's like, what on earth is a hand hold? But a hand hold is a vault that's down around where they have to work on fiber optic cable. Bob can probably speak to that better than I. But I mean, I want it to be correct that we're approving hand pulls,
HOLE.
HOLE.
It's on the actual change order correctly. Great, yeah. Hi.
I need second.
Can we get a second? Second.
So basically what had happened is, they went out to source the product and they could not find the product that was originally in the specs. So they come back with a different product. There's 3 of them that are needed, but only the county is responsible for 2. The other one will go through city council tonight for approval.
So in July, we approved, and maybe this is because of the change in the product that's being suggested. And so here, 3 months later, there's been a $19,000 plus price increase.
There's actually the 3, so it's like 22,000, I believe. But the county's only responsible for the 14. If you look at the map that was part of your packet, you can see over by the jail, that's what we call it, the public safety center. There's one there, then there's one in the city's property by City Hall, and then there's the other one that comes to the community buildings and courthouse. If you look at the map part, I think Commissioner did look at.
Oh, you're saying map. I thought you were saying map.
Map.
Okay. And this company gets 15% markup? Is that standard? I thought we'd been 10%.
For the community building, I believe it's always been 15%. Courthouse has been.
Do you know why there's a difference of 5%?
Probably in the concept.
Commissioner, I would also say on this one, the amount in the change order request, $22,167.40 does not match what's being requested to be approved of $14,778.26. So if this one is signed, it will obligate the county on paper legally to pay that $22,000. So if we are responsible for any portion of what belongs to the city, we can't proceed because unless we have an interlocal agreement on the community building. If the city is gonna cut the county a check, that should be in this document right here, because otherwise, the only thing that would be reviewed later is that amount showing that the county owes $22,000. So I don't know if that should be changed. I just spoke with the auditor on why this one's not on GLO paperwork. And she said that this one is gonna be outside of the grant. That it's her understanding we can use local funds and that the GLO can approve that. So that concern goes away, but the other concern is that the numbers don't match. And according to our procurement policy, we can only, we have to pay out whatever is in a change request.
Okay,
So
I understand what you're saying, but where it says installation of 2 handholds, $12,850 and DLF Texas standard for $1927.60. If you add those 2 together, it does come up to the $14,778.26.
correct. The change order total is a different total. So the one that Judge Garza would sign would obligate us to.
So you're saying you need a separate change order for the county and a separate one for the city?
Alternative, or the numbers match. They're asking you to only approve that 14,000 number. The number that's on this proposed change order request is $8,000 more. So you need a clean that matches.
So it says here county,
Yeah, that's what I was.
county, the cost, it says the city, the cost, and I guess I shouldn't assume, but the mayor would be signing down here too, right?
Correct. They have the exact same
Right.
They don't have a contract with DLS too.
They do have a contract with DLF, a separate contract.
Separate contract so that they can pay the, so then why is their amount included in ours?
If you look on, if you look on, I'm gonna call it page 3. Page 2 of the change order, it does, list installation 2 handles from county, then 15% for a county below that. That comes out to that 14,000 some odd cents.
But legally speaking, we can only obligate county funds to what belongs to the county. So hypothetically, this could be a change order request that in the interest of time puts everybody's price on there. But at the end of the day, this is a change order on the county's contract with DLF2, and the amount doesn't match. So the amount should match, because otherwise it leaves open to interpretation who owes what.
Well, they could refer back to the Commissioners Court and see what the motion was.
We'll just revise this.
Right.
Yes.
If DLF already has a contract with the city for their part of it, then we only need to do a change order for our part of it. So we can revise that change order and then your motion would match the change order.
That's the
And
simple
we take
answer.
So we can approve the amount
Yeah.
pending,
And we just have.
Correction in-
Revise this.
and I think I see why, because after it is Aransas County Community Center and the address, blah, blah, then it says the proposal at the downtown anchor, and so they're looking at that total
The whole
project.
amount, yes.
Okay.
But they've already contracted with DLF, the city's already contracted with DLF to do their portion of it, so we could get them to change our change order for just our portion of it. I mean, that's what I would think would happen.
So we can approve the amount to move it forward, so it doesn't have to wait 2 weeks. And I just want to confirm that, once again, this is being billed to the county. We had to contract for this work because original design plans did not have fiber optic in the community building. Design team.
The original project just had the conduit pathways and only a portion of them. And they did not actually account for putting anything in those conduits. So this had to be added to the design of the project to actually put something in the conduits to be useful instead of just a pathway, a partial pathway.
Well, then you need to amend your motion to include them changing the.
Okay.
Changing the price.
So I move we approve DLF2 Inc.'s change order number 8 with the revision. This is for the Aransas County Community Building / Plaza / fiber optics. The increase for the county's portion will be $14,778.26 for the installation of the 2 hand holes that the county is responsible for. How's that?
And to include a revision.
Right, we'll have a
Right.
revised change order that the judge will sign.
Okay.
Second.
Motion in a second.
So we ready?
Why not?
And the final change order, can it just say change order? Don't take off the request because we're approving the change order. Yeah.
Commissioner Cheney, Commissioner Casterline,
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnik, Judge Garza.
Aye, passes. Item number 9.
Fire and shelter plan to emergency performance and needs assessment of the Aransas County Animal Care Facility and authorize the county judge to sign all necessary documents.
Hi, good morning, everybody.
We're gonna have a second.
Yes.
Oh, we got a second? Okay.
Second.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You step in front of the. Thanks.
So I had an opportunity this year to go to Humane Society United States Conference, and I got to meet with different shelter architects and shelter engineers. Came back, we talked about getting the needs assessment approved. We got that to where we were able to go out and get quotes and proposals before to try to get a needs assessment done. I've spoke with Shelter Planners of America. I spoke with Animal Arts Institute and DLI, which is Design Oriented. Me, Adela and Eric, Adela got to come to some of the meetings with some of the shelter architects and engineers where we talked about doing a needs assessment and having that done. We did Zoom meetings with them. And then at the end of the day, we decided to go with Shelter Planners of America due to their what I'm looking for.
So I got two questions. One of them is the we is yourself.
Eric Smith.
And Adele.
Yes.
No, Eric and I typically don't rank or score anybody.
Oh, yeah, and there was no rank. I contacted Eric Smith in regards to sending me my proposals. I sent it to Adela and I sent it to Eric. And I emailed them last week and they told me that to just go ahead and pick and then go and bring it up to Commissioner's Court.
Well, this was your choice.
Yes.
Okay. And the other thing is, it's within your, it's not budget, but it's within your budget. You have money to do this.
Yes, there is money according to my books, so there's.
So does the assessment obligate us to spend money that the assessment does?
The needs assessment does have a charge, but we do not have to choose them for the building concept. It is just to come and do the needs assessment.
Once they do the assessment and say they find something, do we have an obligation or do we have some negative aspect of what they found?
It's just doing the needs assessment and seeing if we do need to expand or shelter, if y'all decide that we do not want to. There's no.
And yeah, I think the needs is more based on just space requirements, not any kind of legal compliance, right?
No, we're in legal compliance. It's just for better adequate running.
And my understanding of this project, Commissioner, is that we could do the needs assessment and walk away. If that's what you're talking about, is there an obligation? And again, if we're already in legal compliance, we could walk away. If however, whatever they present is something that the county wanted to follow up and pursue, that would at least bring us to a spot where we are knowledgeable about the needs based on, I think, how many animals we care for, officers, space available.
County size, staff size.
And I actually have the representative for Shelter Planners of America. He's on Zoom. If y'all have questions pertaining strictly.
What's anticipated cost?
I'm sorry?
Excuse me, what's anticipated cost?
So there is a
14,000.
Yeah, 14,000 is the estimated.
Breakdown in there.
Yes. Mike Bernard, would you like to chime in?
Yes, thank you for having me, Judge and Commissioners. Michael Barnard, Principal of Shelter Planners of America. We work on animal shelters all over the country. We've worked on over 750 different ones, many of those county or city-owned shelters. We just are about to open a new shelter in Ingleside, Texas. We were selected and designed a new animal shelter for Nueces County, which is just about to start construction. We are supposed to be starting on a new project for the city of Corpus Christi, hopefully sometime in November. We've done work in Del Rio, McAllen, but we're currently working on about 35 animal shelters from California to New York. So this is a specialty type of work that we do. The proposal that you have, we have a 3-step process. Step 1 is the needs assessment study, which is a deep dive into the needs of your community. Step 2 is a conceptual design, not the type of design it takes to get construction bids and permits and that type of thing. That would be step 3. That's full design and engineering. To answer the question about what your obligation is, this proposal is only for step 1, needs assessment study, and step 2, conceptual design, but those are done in steps. So there's a signature line to just sign for step one. So really, step one is really the only thing that you would be obligating yourself to. And then at the end of the needs assessment study, depending on, what the findings are, you may want to proceed to do step two, or you could literally just walk away and say, well, thank you very much, but we're not going to renovate our or expand our shelter or build a new shelter. We're just going to stay with the status quo.
And we don't need to issue an RFQ for this. What makes it exempt from that?
I did come to a commissioners and presented an RFQ, I believe, was when I was asking to go out for needs assessment.
So did we have other people?
Yes, I talked with Design Learning Inc. as well and Animal Art Institute.
Does anybody do an evaluation?
Just to clarify, an RFQ has never issued. So an RFQ would be required to go out. It's anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks, but usually 6 weeks. We are not allowed to consider price in an RFQ. In fact, you're expressly prevented from considering price in that. You bid it out, you get everybody's answer, and then from there, you negotiate a contract. So an RFQ has not issued. We would need an RFQ for an architect and engineer, landscaper, design, interior design. There's 10 of them. I'm trying to memorize them. But
was there just no need to do one for this size project?
Well, the needs assessment, if it has to be done by an architect or engineer, we would have to do the RFQ.
Okay,
And the needs assessment doesn't require an architect or an engineer, then an RFP would be more appropriate. But my understanding is only an RFQ has issued.
I thought you just said an RFQ had not.
Only an RFQ has been approved by this court. So an RFQ has not gone out.
Do we need one for this project?
The people that we're talking to are anticipating if we decide to do something, being able to do it. That seems to me like it makes it not fall under what we can do in this, the way we're doing it.
You might be correct. Okay, so I think as it was originally planned, I think as originally the proposal that I had seen from Shelter Planners of America, they proposed both the needs assessment and architectural designs and then construction administration kind of as tiers.
That's what it sounded like.
Hypothetically, if this falls under a small procurement purchase threshold of $50,000, then neither an RFQ nor an RFP, then it's possible that neither of those would have, that an RFP would have to issue if it is in her budget. And it is not requiring the services of an architect or engineer.
She got 3 quotes. You got 3 quotes, right? Because she talked to 3 different.
And if the
But I'm
site
just saying,
project
but
doesn't
if it
require.
went forward,
If it went forward,
then we would have to.
Yes.
Yes, as it stands right now, the only thing that this commissioner's court has approved is an RFQ issuing. So this does not necessarily match the RFQ that was approved.
Is when Caitlin is proposing to us legal for us to approve at this time?
She got 3 quotes.
Right.
And she had talked to you and Eric about it, I guess.
And it's under.
It's 14,000, right?
Correct. If there's gonna be an architect or engineer on this at all, then this cannot go forward because we have not done an RFQ.
But at this point,
It's a needs assessment,
If
right?
it is a needs assessment,
It's legal.
it falls under the 50, hypothetically, it falls under the 50,000 procurement if she's gotten the 3 quotes. And everybody understands we're only doing a needs assessment and that's it. Then I think technically even it doesn't require your approval if it's in her budget. But, it is my understanding that something more is wanted out of this needs assessment ultimately. And so everything you pass in front of the commissioner's court.
So what we should do is, we do get the needs report, needs requirement, or the needs, recommendation. And then we bring it back to Commissioner's Court, and if we decided to go forward, then we would, because we have to have an architect or an engineer to do that. So then we go back to the proper procedure. So, if he has, if these people have an understanding that they're going to be able to do, conceptual drawings and stuff on this, I think that's a little wide. We just need to know what it is that we want.
No,
Just the needs assessment. Right now, it's just the needs assessment.
no drawings may issue because we have not done an RFQ. You can do
That's
one.
the point of it.
Okay. But if you want to chop it up into steps, before we go deciding what we need to build, let's have someone walk in and tell us reasonably what they think we need.
We are just approving the needs assessment, though. That's all we're approving.
Correct. Correct.
So I call the question.
Thank you.
Commissioner Cheney.
Aye.
Commissioner Castleline.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo. Commissioner Dukenyak. Judge Garza.
Aye, passes. Thank you. Item number, oh, I'm sorry, we're gonna take a 5-minute break. All right, it is 10:18. We're back in session to continue the meeting. Item number 11.
I move to approve the Aransas County Indigent Healthcare Report for October 2024.
Got a motion and a second. The treasurer's not here. Anybody from her office?
Is she online?
Oh, she's not. Perfect. Oh, her report's here.
Well, I would call attention to her department's effectiveness. They had 94 prescription drugs that were issued.
Did we, I'm sorry, did we have a motion yet?
Yes.
Yes.
We did? Oh, my goodness.
And the cost was under $3,000 for 94 prescriptions. So they've done a very good job at finding cost-effective alternatives for the county.
So if she's online, good job, Madam Treasurer.
Commissioner Cheney.
Aye.
Commissioner Castleline.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo.
Aye.
Commissioner Dukenyak.
Aye.
Judge Carson.
Hi, passes 5-0. Item number 12.
I move to approve allowing the Healthy County Coordinator to spend the $2,400 of the Healthy County and Fair funds on incentives and other expenditures incurred for the annual Aransas County Employee Health Fair in anticipation of receiving funds back from Texas Association of Counties Healthy County Program.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Got a motion and a second. Morning, Ms. Upton.
So this is just our annual health fair coming up in December. So the money's already budgeted. And I confirmed with TAC that the refund would be $900.
So we budgeted 1,500 and we'll get 900 in return from TAC.
I believe we budgeted 2,400
Okay.
with anticipation of getting the 900.
When's the health fair?
December 13th. I'm gonna send a notice out today once it's approved.
All right, so
It says on the agenda that we posted 1,500 for, I don't know if that's 44, but.
It's okay. That's why I thought we budgeted it.
Commissioner Cheney.
Aye.
Commissioner Castleline.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo.
Aye.
Commissioner Dukenyak.
Aye.
Judge Carson.
Aye. And I just want to encourage everybody to go. It's awesome this year. Awesomer. Item number 13.
Move to approve authorizing the county judge to sign the 2024 Catapult Health Addendum, Catapult Health for online screening during the annual Aransas County Employee Health Fair.
I'll second that.
Got a motion and a second.
So this catapult health
Let's
screen.
come blast you off or something.
It's a good help.
So we've utilized them the past several years. We just have to re-sign an agreement each year. So we can just annual.
So what do they do?
So they take your blood, and they do a full screen, and then you have a follow-up appointment. And they give you recommendations based on what your results come back as.
I liked your idea that they were going to send you a notice on who has not followed up with them after they've had the initial blood work done.
Yes.
So that then you can encourage them to make that call and then things are paid for.
Yes.
That was a good idea.
For HIPAA, you're sharing the
That's what I was
results. It's not.
No, it says that the person had the screening done and then they let the HR director know if that person has not followed up on the phone call. They don't give any health information.
No.
They just, because they have to follow up or the county gets charged $95 per person.
So they just give me their names and say, contact this person, they need to schedule their appointment, or they missed their appointment and need to reschedule.
Commissioner Cheney. Commissioner Castleline.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo.
Aye.
Commissioner Dukenyak.
Aye.
Judge Carson.
Aye, passes. Thank you. Item number 14.
Move
I'm
to
sorry.
approve authorizing the county judge to sign the HEB pharmacy agreement to administer immunizations at the annual county employee health fair.
I'll second that. And make a comment, HB did a really good job.
Yes, so we usually have Walgreens, but this year it would have been $750 for them to come out to the health fair. So I met with HEB and set up a meeting, and basically it's free for employees that have the insurance. And then we just have to have a minimum participation of 60 employees. We usually have 54 to 112, and that was from 2016 to 2022. And the 54 was in 2020 when we canceled the year, and it was during COVID. That's why we had a low number.
So what all kinds of immunizations are they gonna offer?
They're gonna do tetanus and the flu shot. The flu's been really popular. Tetanus, we've had about, the highest is about 15 employees for tetanus.
The important number is at 60, so department heads, give your people time to go to the health fair so they could get a flu shot. I don't know, but we've got to have that participation.
They'll be there for 2 hours, but I'm gonna send out the information today for Catapult, the HEB immunizations and healthcare.
Okay, when you say for 2 hours, HEB will be there doing the immunization, yeah.
Yes.
It's not that the employee will be at the health fair.
Oh, no, sorry. HEB will be there for 2 hours.
So we need 60 employees there those 2 hours.
Yes.
What day is this?
December 13th,
Do we know where that's gonna be?
the sheriff's office at the
The
EOC.
And where?
The EOC at the sheriff's office.
Oh, okay.
So is this mainly for people that might not have, because you can go to HEB with their insurance and get the shot for free anyway?
It's just convenience to happen at the health fair, so they're not having to go to HEB. And they can do it during working hours.
What time?
I don't have the time frame yet. I was waiting on the agreement to be signed before HEB told me their availability.
Commissioner Cheney.
Aye.
Commissioner Castro.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo.
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick.
Aye.
Judge Garza.
Aye, passes 5-0. Item number 15.
I move to approve authorizing the county judge to sign the Texas County District Retirement.
Number 15.
15.
That's somewhere, that's what this state for. I move to approve paying immunization and the annual Aransas County Health Fair. Health fair for employees not covered under health insurance. As an estimated cost of $1,500 already budgeted from the health care sales.
I'll second that.
Got a motion and a second?
So this is the same dollar amount each year to cover employees that don't have insurance to receive vaccines. And I spoke to Jackie, and the budget's actually 6,000, but we're gonna use 1,500 for the health fair.
But that's good. It encourages people to hopefully be more healthy.
Yes.
Commissioner Cheney.
Aye.
Commissioner Castro.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo.
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick.
Aye.
Judge Garza.
Aye, passes. Item number 16.
Move to approve to approve and authorize the county judge to sign the Texas County District Retirement System Renewal Plan for the year 2025.
I'll second that.
We got a motion and a second.
So this has already been budgeted. This is just our renewal. And our required rate actually decreased this year.
0.1%.
Yes.
That's good.
And I also gave you the summary valuation just to go into more detail, but I wanted to do that.
But the contribution rate going down was the best news.
Yes.
And the value going up was good too.
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Cheney.
Aye.
Commissioner Castro.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo.
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick.
Aye.
Judge Garza.
Aye, passes. And the paperwork, the place for me to sign is not on here, so just be sure you give it to me.
Oh.
Don't see it here.
I'll do it.
Item number 17.
To approve declaring light vehicles as surplus to trade-in and delivery of vehicles budget for this year.
Second that.
Got a motion and a second.
So
Morning, Michael.
have
Chief Deputy Brooks, good morning.
people that might want some of the vehicles that y'all are surplus and have they already went through
I didn't even put that out. There's just 6 vehicles that are very high mileage, very costly for repairs. One truck is what we're getting rid of in the rear end's going out in that. So I think at this point, these would be ones that we would just want to get rid of instead of trying to pass off to somebody else in the county. Now, next year, we do have some more trucks that we could look at for doing that, but these would probably just need.
What kind of miles are
Over 150,000. So these are from 2018. These are after something. So we've had them out.
And Michael, we're taking the 8 and we're gonna trade them all in. And the value of what we get back, we're gonna use for 6 vehicles, correct? And maybe some extra options on the vehicles we're getting.
Well, we have to put in cages, light sirens, and that's gonna cover some of that. It's possible.
And it's budgeted.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Commissioner Cheney. Commissioner Castleman.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo.
Aye.
Commissioner Dukenyak.
Aye.
Judge Garza.
Aye, passes. Thank you, chief. Item number 18.
Move to approve use of remaining American Rescue Plan Act funds. You don't have to put what this is approving for.
Well, I think maybe y'all can decide what you're gonna do for, because we haven't,
And we're second.
Second.
Got a second.
Wanted to kind of just give you an idea of the things that we've actually used this money for. We received a little over, $4.5 million in 21, and as everything has to be obligated, doesn't have to be spent. It has to be obligated by December of 24. We worked really close and really have recommended, the committee has recommended a lot of good projects. We've done county and district clerks have had a large portion of their records digitized and preserved. And a generator was installed at the animal control and AgriLife to share between the 2 buildings. 2 digital informational signs were purchased and have been well used. Jail received PPEs for staff and inmates. We paid a grant match for the airport lighting project. Backhoe was purchased from the transfer station. A vacuum truck was purchased for road and bridge. A small drainage project as well as the Bahia drainage project were done. Fire suppression system was upgraded at the detention center. Jury software was used for the courts. We had worked with, Texas Association of Counties for a website, but that kind of fell through. It just wasn't, couldn't get the work together with it. They didn't work with our systems. We had actually been looking at doing a water tank for the detention center as use of the final funds. That's kind of gotten to where it's cost prohibitive and it's just not really working. So we were wanting to bring it back to, we've talked with the committee. I don't know that you were there, Mr. Commissioner Castleman, wanting to propose maybe buying a couple, 2 to 3 more of the digital signs. They're about $17,000 to $20,000 a piece, which would still leave us about $40,000 or $50,000. And we're kind of proposing and see if they're wanting to use one of the other projects that wasn't totally complete.
I think you'd find something better than the signs. Let's have that way. I think the number we have are.
How much total do we have?
We have probably close to $100,000 right now.
What would that do at animal control?
We have to tie it to COVID and that, I mean, there's some things that we have to tie. I know Elle had asked about, the fiber optics for the courthouse. If we could use the rest of it for some of the fiber optic stuff at the courthouse. Is that still here?
You know, I don't know, we've had, I don't know if it's still applied to it or not, but I've had comments from different areas of my precinct, people asking for us to put a radar sign up, because the sheriff's office has them, but the sheriff's office is actually, y'all's are actually used for type of grant, aren't they, Michael?
Yes, all our speed control radars are on the highways, they're part of the stormwater. Yes.
So they'll use them on residential streets or some side roads or not.
We could place them in the neighborhood for a couple of days, but their main wants to be back out on the
How
house.
much do they cost?
Oh, the trailers are quite expensive. Now, the little signs, I think we put those the past couple thousand, maybe a sign.
Maybe get some, I was thinking, trying to get some of these signs on the trailer where they can put in residential areas to kind of make people more aware of
The sign.
They have to qualify.
Qualify that or quantify
That's what I was
COVID
thinking.
type information,
Yeah.
so. I mean, that was more what the funding when it was distributed was for helping with COVID and rescue. Now, there are some ways that we can use it for just to put in the budget and use as budget. But when we originally started and sent in our projects, that was not what was listed, so we're kind of limited on what we can do.
And this discussion came up when we had the last meeting on, what, 2 weeks ago at the most? Because the second request for construction,
Yeah, for construction,
for the water,
Water tanks, you didn't have any.
we had no responses either time.
Done with no responses.
And so we had most of the committee members there, and unfortunately, Commissioner Castellani, you weren't there, and so we had an informal discussion. But if there seems to be concern, maybe we need another committee meeting, and then we can bring that recommendation back, because what those of us in the room thought, the signs have been well utilized, well appreciated by the community, and getting a couple more of those, and then putting some additional money towards the district clerk's records, because we put a lot towards the county clerk's records already, would be a way. But if you want, we can table this and come back with a committee meeting.
That is up to y'all. I
So
mean,
we
that
just
is-
have to have it approved by the end of the year.
We have to have it obligated, yes, we have to have it approved, so if we can do it in 2 weeks at the next meeting. if you want to do something.
We're gonna table this then.
I'll second.
Commissioner Cheney. Commissioner Castellane.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo. Commissioner Dupnick.
Aye.
Judge Garza.
Hi, it is tabled. Item number 19.
Move to approve the request for the Coastal Business Disaster Recovery Group in the amount of $10,000 to support CBDRG's continued commitment to Aransas County disaster recovery.
I'll second that.
Got a motion and a second.
So would that qualify for ARPA?
You know, just thought about that.
I was just like, because they sent me this request after we approved the budget, correct? So it's
And
not-
they also made no report to us. I believe in the past, they have given us some sort of report. When they gave us the last report, which was sometime last year, trying to think April to August. My understanding was that since there was only, I believe, the executive director left, and there really wasn't that much to do, that they were looking to just put a hiatus to this organization, which is what I thought had happened since we didn't get a report. I see that they say that besides what they did during Harvey, they also spent $7,500 for Winter Storm Uri. And assisted 7 households. Now, in truth, if you were one of those 7 households, it was important. But they're asking us for 10,000. They're also asking their other partners each for 10,000. And I believe this is mostly to fund the executive director positions. And I think that the level of emergency management that this county has, and perhaps other counties, has certainly improved remarkably since Harvey. And that I am not in favor of any more funding going to this outside group.
Well, the difference between this group and emergency management is that donations can go to this group, where when we take them, it turns into a
Hatch Act.
catastrophe.
Yeah, the Hatch
To
Act.
me, when we did it, so I don't know, that's kind of the benefit of this group.
If I,
Yes, come on.
I just wanted to note the Coastal Bend Disaster Recovery Group was formed prior to Hurricane Harvey. It was formed to facilitate donations. FEMA sent in folks to start this group so that any monetary donations would have a transparent, dedicated filter. They work closely with the Red Cross, so anytime we have any type of disaster in our area, they do play a very important role in managing all the different volunteer organizations and allocate and matching people in need with the different types of groups that provide those resources.
I think it started in some other counties before we ever joined in ahead of it, but I know Harvey, you know, a major issue was what can you legally do with the donation?
Right. And I'm okay with approving this, but we just didn't budget it. Like they should have sent it a month prior or 2 months prior.
So maybe we should invite them to come back and give us an update and plead their case.
Right. If we disapprove this, can they come back on the next meeting and request it? Or is there?
Move the table.
We can table.
Table it.
Before we table though, I'd also like to mention that, and thank you, Ms. Como, for what you commented. I'm not sure financial transparency was totally in effect because there were people, many people who came a few years and wanted to know whose homes were fixed or where were those homes fixed or any sort of information about who received funding and who didn't, because there were a number of people who in Aransas County have requested for help and they were told, oh, well, there'll be lots of time. They were given any number of excuses and then when they continued to follow up, they were told, oh, let me talk. And we tried to get those reports and I as a commissioner tried to get those reports and was told, well, everything we have shows personal information. Well, if you need to generate a report to show financial transparency, then figure out a way to do that where you're not giving out. I mean, we didn't need to know somebody on this street got it, somebody on that street got it, and who they were so we could go by and, you know, see what their house looked like. But I did not notice financial transparency very much in effect at all since I've been on the court and anything for documents. That's just.
I went to a number of they turned them over to the people that got them, you know, after Harvey. I went to quite a few of them. Plus Chialos and other things like that. You know, so get them to come in and see what they have to say.
Right.
Hypothetically, you should be able to do an open records request.
Part of it's, a lot of what they do goes through Red Cross's CAN, and I can't remember what the acronym stands for. But I believe that there's privilege, that some of it has to do with there's medical assistance, there's a lot of things that get tied up into that. And I'm not sure what it entails to get the type of information that Commissioner Russo.
Was just asking for what else.
But honestly, I would be happy to reach out to the local, in sending the folks that were managing it during Harvey to see what organization would do best to, what way we can best answer that question for the community. That's a very understandable question.
Thank you.
Part of the Texas Constitution prohibits the gratuitous use of public funds to a private purpose. That's a very fancy way for saying we can't give public money to a private entity unless in part, it's a 3-part test, but in part that the commissioner's court retains control over how the money is spent. Obviously, it has the benefit of public purpose. Sorry, I've got like 9 AG opinions with me. I'd like to read it to you.
Could you summarize them?
Yeah, it needs to serve a public purpose, which this commissioner's court would have to order. Supporting our citizens would serve a public purpose. But in general, part of that public purpose test is that you retain some control over how that money is spent. So that's the biggest one right now. So
I think during Harvey, the donations, when they were turned over to them, they had to be specific to Aransas County.
Right. So that would be probably need a control of the public purpose test, but at the same time, you have the right to see how your money's being spent. And under the Open Meetings Act, I don't think they can actually restrict all personal information of people in homes. So if you want, I can help you write an open records request to send if you prefer.
We can visit about that if you like outside.
Sure. Yeah.
Who made the motion? You want to amend it to
Not the
table?
motion to take, it was discussed, but no first and second.
Oh, okay, table.
I just have one other thing, this is, they got it in after budget. I have a problem with, trying to make the budget this, you know, with that. I mean, everybody wanted stuff on the budget, we were doing the budget, so.
Like take a motion to, I move to table the request for funding to the local business disaster recovery group in the amount of $10,000 to support CBDRG's continued commitment to Aransas County disaster recovery and resiliency.
I'll second that.
Got a motion second.
Commissioner Cheney.
Aye.
Commissioner Castleline.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo.
Hey,
Commissioner Dukenyak. And Judge Garza.
Aye to table, 4-1, passes. Item number 21.
Move to approve October 2024 auditor's monthly report.
Yeah. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. We are running a little bit behind on sales tax. Everything should ideally be at 84%. We're running about 8% behind, which we anticipate. I mean, it was that way last year. And it's worse.
did you say 8% behind? Okay, thank you.
But on a good note, expenses are 8% below.
That is a good note.
So, been watching that. I want to stress to department heads and have asked Desiree about having a department meeting maybe soon to reassure everyone they don't have to spend every penny that's in their budget, that we can be conservative and go in and put a little bit into our fund balance. And it doesn't mean that next year your budget will be cut just because you didn't spend it all this year. So,
You mean this is not the federal budget?
No.
Thank goodness we did.
So anyway, if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Commissioner Cheney.
Aye.
Commissioner Castleline.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo. Aye. Commissioner Dukenyak.
Aye.
Judge Garza.
Aye. Passes. We've accepted the auditor's monthly report. Item number 22.
Move to approve the budget line item.
Second.
Got none this time.
Commissioner Cheney.
Aye.
Commissioner Castleline. Commissioner Russo. Aye. Commissioner Dukenyak.
Aye.
Judge Garza.
Aye, passes. Item number 23.
Move to approve accounts payable line.
Second.
Their normal payroll liabilities, accounts payable is normal. I would like to point out the, construction. We have nothing with ARPA that was spent. We have nothing, no bills were paid with the courthouse, so no invoices paid. So everything is just in the 430 capital projects. One from Mont McDonald, and this is Cedar Bio. It's some of the last, it's not the last, but it's really close to the last of their monitoring for $12,216. PGAL for $2,277.56. And DLS Construction, which are the generators for airport, road and bridge, and transfer station. Those three invoices totaled $96,156.22. New Stout Excavation is $158,147.35.
And what's their project, Jackie?
I need to ask you.
Daryl, do you know?
New Stout is, it's I'm.
Yeah,
saying
Andy.
that's the one that's- There's a couple of them that I just always reset, and that one's rattlesnake. And then Mont McDonald, which is for the Bay Shore Drive TCEQ project of $69.98. That's all of that. I would also like to let y'all know on the move and build out for the buildings, to date, the total is $202,834.91.
Okay, 202,000,
834.91.
so almost 203.
And
that's for this most recent move.
Yes, ma'am, that's for all the buildings and all the builds out and all the, everything that we've had to do for.
That seems like no movement at all on the old building.
No, I haven't seen anything, nothing.
Yeah, nothing.
Thank you, Jay.
Commissioner Cheney. Commissioner Castro.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo.
Aye.
Commissioner Dudnick. Judge Garcia.
Aye, passes 5-0. Section 12, reports from commissioners, elected officials, and department heads. No action will be taken.
I'd like, it's been a while, I'd like to get a request on, or an update on the city value. And just kind of see where we're at on that. We've had some pretty good years for that, but we played along, I'd like to kind of get an idea of what it looks like.
Who would bring that information?
Yeah.
Elle? Or who?
Well, you know what, Mike might be able to, because they do a flyover every once in a while, and he might be able to get some pictures.
Good. Maybe.
Because every once in a while.
Yeah, I think I'm.
Mont McDonald can, but they're not there on the ground where he, Mike could give us some pictures and stuff. He has in the past, I don't know how quick he can do it.
I'm online, Jackie, I'm online. I don't think I quite understood what the question was about pictures.
Was about, Cedar Bayou and what it looks like right now.
Yeah, you just say the word. If Judge, whenever you want video of that, I can arrange for it to be shot on a GoPro. But the last time I saw it, it looked really, really good.
Alrighty.
Yep.
Good.
Thank you, Mike.
All right, we'll get you that, Commissioner. Anybody else?
Yeah, this past weekend, Aransas Pathways hosted the Texas Folks March Association. And there were attendees from around the state. We hope it was a great event. We hope that it will become an annual event and grow even bigger. With the changing of the newspaper dates, I think there maybe was a lost opportunity to kind of get public service announcements in and that, but there were some advertisements in. But a great group of people came in, planned the event with Melissa and Renee. I worked Saturday at the History Center, and they had two routes, a 5K route, walking, and a 10K route. They both started from Connie Hagar and took people to the downtown area, to the historic area, and then back around by the railroad depot and all. So I think it was really a great event. Fairfield Hotels was the host hotel, and just good job to them.
Commissioner Russo, who did you say that was?
It's the Texas Volks March. It's a movement that started in Germany. I know a lot more about it now than I did last week. And it basically was brought back to America from returning military people who first came to the Fredericksburg area, and they had 4 clubs there. And now I think the national headquarters is located in San Antonio.
And what's the second word that you're saying?
It's a German word, Volks March. It's just like people walking.
Oh,
okay. Not goose stepping or anything like that. Just people out there to be healthy, to get to know the community. I heard later that they were very complimentary of the Aransas County History Museum, and it was just beautiful weather, and Renee's folks and the city worked with us on this too, and the volunteers themselves came in and just had great cooperation.
And this weekend also, Aransas County Airport is hosting the Warbirds from South Texas. That's actually being sponsored by a nonprofit group with donations from the public. This Friday, it'll be open to basically the students. And they're having a lot of area schools, not just Aransas County schools, but we have students coming through there. And it's more or less of that point of view, it's taken a lot to try to have students that have an interest in aviation or aviation based skills. It's an opportunity for them to learn more about it. Saturday, it's going to be open to the public. A lot of planes that are older than people in this room. So it's pretty neat. World War II airplanes and which is going to be pretty exciting. And there's going to be a lot of parking, a lot of want to thank in advance a lot of public volunteers that are going to be out there helping with the parking, different things. There are actually going to be students out there helping with a lot of the activities. So it's a great thing. And then Sunday morning, there's actually going to be a religious service Sunday morning at 8 o'clock also. So, but it's a great day, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
And free.
And it's free to the public.
And along with that, we just came back, Commissioner Dubnik and Judge and Commissioner Cashline too, came back from a conference in San Marcos and we had a meal at the Confederate Air Air Force. Yeah, the Confederate Air Force. That's what I'm trying to think of. And they were talking about this. I had several commissioners from other areas saying that they had heard about our warbirds and stuff like that, and wanted to know when we were having it. And at that time, I didn't know, but I'm sure they'll find out. But I heard, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 of them, a couple from the Valley and a couple from West Texas that were really interested in what we were doing with that. Our airport's getting to be well known.
All right. Section number 13 reports about items of community interest. Got anything, animal care? No? I know you're always busy every weekend. All right.
Anything in Fulton?
No.
Let me say one more thing. I want to compliment animal control. I got a call on Sunday morning. Animals were injured in the middle of the bypass. Pack of dogs around. Anyway, this lady was crying. I was trying to understand what she was telling me. I finally just called animal control to dispatch. Our wonderful leaders went out there and took care of it. The animals were not injured. Anyway, but bottom line is they were very responsive, and I appreciate that. Thank you.
I do want to say one thing, just to make the public aware. There's been some on social media about coyotes roaming the area, and actually, this past week, one of my outdoor cameras caught a coyote in our front yard, munching on a cat. So,
Vanessa Lowe's has coyotes.
Well, the thing is, they're in the area, and I know there's people, we have a leash law.
You gonna put a leash on the coyote?
And, but people need to be aware, if people do let their dogs out early in the morning or late at night like that, without escorting them at times, so they need to be really aware of that.
And there's like a big thing about with coyotes. Coyotes is a strategic moving. If you move them, you have to do it very strategically. If you go after and hunt them, you have to do it very strategically. Coyotes run off of a big pack, correct? There's one major female to that male. If you kill or move that major female, it will make every single one of the other females go into heat, and he will tag every single one of those females, and therefore it will cause an uproar and an upscale on those. Oh, no, I just like, because we do get calls on them and ask, why aren't you moving them? Because if you do, it can cause a major upscale in the appearance of them. And once you move one predator, another predator moves in. So you don't know what that predator is actually keeping.
And these, I guess, if not in areas that we've been by in pairs, because I've caught both of them on our cameras. So.
But you got a mountain lion out in your place, though.
I don't need a mountain lion, we got everything.
I mean, not.
But anyway, the public needs to be aware of that, with their pets.
All right. At this time, Do we need to go to closed session? You have a report?
I definitely for item number 5.
Okay. Do I have a motion or go into closed session?
Do we adjourn? Or no?
No.
Okay.
No.
Do you want me to- Okay,
I think so.
I move we convene into closed session to consult with counsel and receive legal advice about pending or contemplated litigation, other attorney-client privilege matters, including insurance matters related to projects and insurance claims from Hurricane Harvey, various contract disputes, and the WENT Services Public Information Act request. Number 1, Aransas County, Texas versus Endurance American Specialty Insurance Company et al., Aransas County District Court cause number 23-0021. Number 2, North Star Recovery Service, Inc. versus Aransas County Independent School District and Aransas County. Aransas County District Court cause number 23-0066. Consolidated with North Star Recovery Services versus HR&R et al., Aransas County District Court cause number 20-0159. Number 3, Western Steel versus T2J Partners LLC, DIE/A FPS Recovery, and Aransas County, Texas, cause number 24-0072 in the 36th District Court of Aransas County, Texas. Number 4, iWorkQ Systems, Inc., Utah Corporation versus Aransas County, Texas, case number 2401-00226 in the District Court of the First Judicial District, County, Utah. Number 5, report on the status of the former alternative dispute resolution occurring between the county and Teal Construction Company for the Downtown Anchor Project regarding the various pending matters as noticed in the September 23rd, 2024 regular meeting closed session, including but not limited to contemplated litigation, alternate dispute resolution, termination of contract, changes to the scope of work, various requested and proposed contract amendments to the contract sum and contract time, and pursuant to section 551.071 of the Texas Open Meetings Act, which authorizes closed sessions for a governmental body to consult with its attorney regarding advice on legal matters pertaining to pending or contemplated litigation or a settlement offer, or on a matter in which the duty of the attorney to the governmental body under the Texas disciplinary rules of professional conduct of the State Bar of Texas clearly conflicts with the Open Meetings Act.
Second.
Got a motion second?
Commissioner Cheney.
Aye.
Commissioner Castellani.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo. Commissioner Duteney.
Aye.
Judge Garza.
Aye, passes. We'll go into closed session in about 5 minutes.
Let's reconvene into open session in 12:09.
Second.
Can a motion in a second?
Commissioner Cheney.
Aye.
Commissioner Castleline.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo. Aye. Commissioner Dukenyak.
Aye.
Judge Garza.
Aye, we are back in open session. The only thing left is to adjourn. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
Second.
Commissioner Cheney. Commissioner Castleline.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo.
Aye.
Commissioner Dukenyak. Judge Garza.
Hi. You guys.